So let's work on a granny square together. This is the extreme. So I'm using 5 strings today of the Renat Softy Chunky all at one time. I'm using a size P hook, and this P hook is 8.5 inches, and it's a lot bigger than some of the competitors out there. I find the longer the hook, the better for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with putting all 5 together just like so. There's 5 of these balls, but it's actually white. And I want to manipulate that all the strings are the same, so they're all together. So let's create our slip knot as normal. Okay, so don't look at it as 5 strings, look at it as 1 string, and then at the end just put it through. Okay, so that's considered 1 string. So let's begin to do a granny square. So what I want you to do is I want you to chain 4. This does not count as 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we want to create the ring like we would if it was a normal square. And this is a normal square. It's just extreme. Just sticking our hook into the beginning chain. Okay, forming the U that comes down, and that's your center point. And now we want to grab that string here coming from the balls. Okay, we just want to grab it and pull it through. Okay, so there is the center point of your granny, and we want to have these stragglers kind of coming off, and we want to trap those into position. So let's begin to do the next point of our granny square. Okay, to start our granny now, in the next round we have to chain up 3. So just 1, 2, 2, and 3. And we want to go back into the center of the ring for 2 more double crochets. So wrapping the material, going right into the center of the ring. Okay, pulling it through. Okay, and then we want to pull through 2. Okay, and 2. So that was a double crochet, and now we want to do that again. So just into the center. Okay, and we want to pull through 2 and 2, and now we want to create the first turn. So 1 and 2. Now what's happening here is that I'm getting really tight on here, and I think I've grabbed an extra string that I should have, so that's something that you need to be a little bit aware of. So now I want to double crochet again 3 more times, and now here's where the straggler is on top of the ring, so I want to make sure that stays on the top of the ring so that it can get trapped into position. So going in with all the stragglers and everything on top, and so what happens is that when you come back around it traps it. So we want to go through 2 and 2. Okay, and let's do that again. So we need a total of 3 altogether. And 1 more. And then we're going to do another turn. Okay, and the turn has 2 chains. Okay, so 1 and 2, and now going into the center of the ring again. So in, pull through 2 and 2, in, okay, let's do that. Okay, and so basically now making sure you catch all 5. Okay, so we got 1 side, 2 side, 3, so now we just got to get the final side. So to turn, we chain 2, always chaining 2 when we turn. Okay, and then let's put in 3 more double crochets again for the final side. Now I always start and stop my crochets different than many of the pattern books. I find the way that I do it makes more sense to me, and it hides the changing a lot easier. So to finish it, because obviously you have corners here but you don't have a corner here, so we have to chain 2, 1 and 2, and this is called slip stitching. So we just want to get to the top of this starting one over here, and we want to just pull it through and through. Okay, so there is the full square done. So let's go on to the next step. So I'm going to move up now 1 row. So how we do that is that we just chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. and now we just go right here. This is exactly where the corner is, so we want to go into that same corner that we just came out of for 2 more double crochets. So how does that make any sense? The chaining of the 3 already counts as 1 double crochet, so that means that there's 3 altogether if you consider it like that. See? So you got 1, 2, and 3. And now this is considered the runway. I call the runway the spot in between the corners. So every time we're joining anything in the runway, it's chaining of 1, and now we just happen to be running into the other side again. So let's go in again to the side. Okay, now you'll see here there's a loop. So in actual fact, what's happened here is that I've probably dropped a string. So I'm going to just pull that back out. There it is. So I'm just going to redo that. You want to make sure you're kind of looking for that. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it could make your project really untidy if you have these massive loops hanging out. So again, back on the main runway. Okay, and then that was chaining of 1, and then we're back into the corner. Now the corners always have the 3, 2, 3 configuration. So 3 double crochets that I'm doing right now. So this is number 2. So 3 double crochets right in a row. So this is the 3, and then we need a chaining of 2. We always chain 2 to turn the corner. So 1 and 2, and now going into the same corner again for 3 double crochets. That's why I call it a 3, 2, 3 configuration. 3 double crochets, 2 chain, and 3 double crochet. So you can see this requires a lot more manual movement for your hands. Okay, so there you go. And now we're on the runway again in between, so we chain 1, and going into the other side, so this is the corner over here, and we want to do your 3, 2, 3 configuration again. So 3 double crochets. So you can see it takes a little bit longer to make the stitches, but look at the growth rate. It's just like massive. This is how I did the actual cat mat that I showed. So I'm doing the corner now, so that was the chaining of 3 double crochets, 2 chain, and now going back in for 3 double crochets. So this is how I did the cat mat with just that really thick string from Bernat, and basically you really couldn't see the patterning involved because it was so fuzzy. But this is how I did it, and you use your fingers to feel for the holes when you have enough experience behind you and what it should be like. Okay, making sure the strings are all kind of staying together. So there's the 3 together, and now we're in between. So don't let this fool you. We're in between. So we're just chaining 1, and then we're back in the corner again. You're going to use a lot of yarn really quickly with this when you do extreme crochet, but it's what I liked, and you may like it too. I think these would make good play mats if you were going to put them down, probably without the holes and the granny squares, but really what a wonderful concept. Okay, so you can see that there's more than one string coming up over here. So again, I just want to kind of pull it a little bit, get it all loosened out, and another double. Now see, I could edit all of that stuff out, but I want you to see that because it's important that you know how to fix yourself. So again, we're in the runway. This is what we got so far. I almost got to pull further back from the camera because it's so much bigger. And then we're back in the corner again. So this is the final corner before we're finished this entire round. Okay, and again the string is kind of, you want to make sure all the string is being fed on at an equal level. Okay, and then to finish off the corner, because it's not quite finished because you've got a gap, we want to chain 2. 1 and 2. And now we just want to join it. So that's how you would do your granny square concept. Just like so. you.